The story begins in a hotel in Italy, where a team of secret agents is in the midst of a high-stakes operation. Roxanne, one of the agents, is stationed on the outskirts, meticulously observing the situation and relaying updates to her team. Meanwhile, Tom, the head of the agents, monitors the entire operation from the London headquarters via surveillance cameras. Their mission is to capture a CIA agent who possesses a crucial device hidden inside a suitcase. Just as they prepare for extraction, the waiting vehicle explodes, forcing them to retreat back into the hotel and search for an alternative escape route. Roxanne attempts to contact her team, but they are systematically attacked and eliminated one by one. Agent Nick is the last survivor, but just as he reaches the extraction point, he meets his demise. Following this failed operation, the device is taken by another vehicle. In another part of the world, we are introduced to Mike, a construction worker who still lives with his mother. His life is mundane and routine until Roxanne unexpectedly reappears. It is revealed that Roxanne was Mike's high school girlfriend, who vanished after joining a covert group known as the Union, a team of highly secretive undercover agents. Mike is stunned to see the woman he never stopped thinking about, admitting that he often imagined her return. Mike, who had once been a perfect fit for the Union, finds himself drawn back into the world he thought he had left behind. The two catch up on each other's lives and spend some time at a local bar. Roxanne suggests moving to another location, a place they used to frequent. However, this is a ruse. While Mike believes it to be a romantic reunion, Roxanne's true intention is to seduce him and bring him to her team. When Mike wakes up, he is disoriented, finding himself in London. Roxanne explains that she drugged him to bring him there. Desperate to return to his ordinary life, Mike is intercepted by Tom, who reveals that Roxanne recommended him for the team due to his lack of a formal background in espionage, making him an ideal candidate to go unnoticed. Tom explains that in 2 weeks, the stolen device from their failed mission will be sold. The device contains sensitive information about individuals who have worked for the FBI, CIA, and other agencies. Mike's mission, should he accept it, is to pose as a buyer and recover the device. Now, Mike has until the end of the day to decide whether to embrace this dangerous new role or return to his routine life. Roxanne tries to persuade him, but it becomes clear that Mike still harbors unresolved feelings about their past and the way she left him. Roxanne hands Mike a first-class plane ticket home, emphasizing that the choice is entirely his. After some contemplation, Mike decides to accept the mission. He then undergoes rigorous training to prepare for the task ahead, covering everything from firearms and combat skills to sharpening his reflexes. 2 weeks later, the mission begins. Mike is required to personally retrieve an encrypted device to gain access to the auction, while Roxanne and the other agents operate undercover. Mike arrives at the designated location, where he is guided to a cell phone that directs him to the bathroom of a nearby restaurant. There, a man hands him the device. However, to Roxanne's dismay, they discover that another undercover team is also after the encrypted device. Mike flees the scene as Roxanne takes down several attackers. The number of hostile agents grows, forcing Mike to seek refuge in a nearby building. Unfortunately, he encounters a woman who overpowers him, and during the struggle, the device falls into the water and is rendered useless. Roxanne arrives to assist Mike and subdues the woman, but the device is already beyond recovery. With this setback, the mission is deemed a failure, and the team devises a new plan: to steal one of the other 5 devices and infiltrate the auction. Although Mike is no longer essential to the mission, he insists on seeing it through, determined not to let Roxanne down after she placed her trust in him. Despite Tom's suggestion to remove Mike from the operation, Roxanne decides to give him another chance and allows him to stay. The team proceeds with the mission, successfully infiltrating a location where one of the encrypted devices is stored on a computer. Mike proves to be a valuable asset, and they secure the device. However, the victory is short-lived. One of Roxanne's team members is found dead, indicating that their presence has been detected. Soon after, the building housing Tom and his team is attacked, resulting in a massive explosion. Fortunately, Tom survives with only injuries and instructs his team to disperse until the situation calms down. Roxanne and Mike retreat to a supposed safe house, where they mourn the loss of their teammate. With only one room available, they are forced to share sleeping quarters, though both insist that nothing will happen between them. The next day, news outlets report the explosion as an electrical failure, a cover-up that leaves Roxanne and Mike deeply suspicious. They believe it was an attempt on their lives. Tom contacts them, revealing that there are only 18 hours left before the auction begins. He urges them to regroup and formulate a plan. At their new operations center, Tom outlines a strategy to trace the auctioneer's location once the bidding starts. buying time for Roxanne and Mike to locate them. To their surprise, the CIA joins the operation, providing the necessary funds to the person in charge of financing the bidding, informing them that securing the information is absolutely critical, as failure to do so would mean the end of the syndicate. Roxanne and Mike prepare for their next move, and as soon as the auction begins, they head to the auctioneer's location. Roxanne charges ahead at full speed, while Tom, at the bidding site, pushes the bids as high as possible to buy time. Roxanne and Mike arrive at the building identified by the trail, where they come face to face with Juliet, the auctioneer. Without hesitation, Roxanne threatens Juliet, demanding she hand over the highly classified information they stole. Juliet calmly reveals that the information is stored at her house and insists they accompany her if they want to retrieve it. The auctioneer remains composed, and upon entering her home, she retrieves a suitcase from a hidden compartment. Just as Roxanne secures the information, an unexpected visitor arrives. When the door opens, they are shocked to see Nick, who is presumed dead. During the ensuing conversation, Mike learns that Nick is Roxanne's husband, a fact Roxanne had kept from him, which leaves Mike visibly upset. However, there's no time for jealousy, as Nick reveals that there's a traitor within the union, Tom. He explains that Tom has been operating secretly and is responsible for the deaths of their colleagues. Nick warns them not to trust Tom or hand over the information to him. Instead, he proposes meeting at dawn to deliver the information directly to the CIA, a plan Roxanne reluctantly agrees to. After Nick leaves, Mike confronts Roxanne about her failure to disclose her marriage. Their argument escalates, revealing that their families had opposed their relationship in the past. The tension becomes too much, and Mike storms off in frustration. The next day, Roxanne waits at the bridge where Nick had instructed her to meet. Mike unexpectedly shows up, determined to see the mission through. At that moment, Nick calls to inform Roxanne that he won't be coming. He has set her up. He reveals that Juliet switched the device last night, and Tom now possesses the information. Nick also confirms that Tom orchestrated the deaths of their friends and is the mastermind behind the betrayal. As the CIA arrives to arrest Roxanne and Mike, the two refuse to give up. They fake a daring escape by jumping onto a boat, successfully evading the CIA. Once safe, Roxanne reveals that she had placed a tracker on Nick the previous night, allowing them to trace his movements. Nick is seen heading to a location with the stolen device. Roxanne and Mike infiltrate a plane to follow him, while Tom remains imprisoned and powerless. They track Nick to a boat where he is seen with Juliet, preparing to sell the top-secret information. Roxanne and Mike rush to intervene, with Roxanne disrupting the deal and Mike seizing the opportunity to steal the device. Realizing she's been caught in the crossfire, Juliet abandons Nick, leaving him to face Roxanne alone. Despite Roxanne's efforts, Nick manages to escape, forcing her to regroup and focus on supporting Mike as they continue their mission. Just when it seems like the mission is over, Nick reappears to steal the briefcase. A high-speed chase ensues as both sides fight to reclaim the device, but Nick ultimately succeeds in keeping it. Roxanne catches up and corners Nick, who tries to persuade her to split the profits from the stolen information. Roxanne refuses his offer and ultimately ends his life, reclaiming the critical data. With the mission finally complete, Mike attends his friend's wedding, ready to return to a semblance of normalcy. To his surprise, Roxanne shows up at the wedding. The two, still harboring feelings for each other, consider giving their relationship another chance. As they sneak away from the party to spend a moment alone, they are intercepted by Tom, who has since been released. Tom informs them that he has another mission for the duo and officially welcomes Mike into the syndicate. And so, the story concludes.